Hey everybody, welcome back to Bible Time. And in this episode, we're going to be continuing on in the book of Isaiah with chapter 3. And this is subtitled Judgment on Jerusalem and Judah. The mighty Lord All-Powerful is going to take away from Jerusalem and Judah everything you need: your bread and water, soldiers and heroes, judges and prophets, leaders and army officers, officials and advisors, fortune tellers, and others who tell the future. He will let children and babies become your rulers. You will each be cruel to friends and neighbors. Young people will insult their elders. No one will show respect to those who deserve it. Some of you will grab a hold of a relative and say, "You still have a coat. Be our leader and rule this pile of ruins." But the answer will be, "I can't do you any good. Don't make me your leader. There's no food or clothing left in my house." Jerusalem and Judah, you rebelled against your glorious Lord. Your words and your actions made you stumble and fall. The look on your faces shows that you are sinful as Sodom, and you don't try to hide it. You are in for trouble, and you have brought it all on yourselves. Tell those who obey God, you're very fortunate. Tell those who obey God, you're very fortunate. You will be rewarded for what you have done. Tell those who disobey, you're in for big trouble. What you did to others will come back to you. Though you are God's people, you are ruled and abused by women and children. You are confused by leaders who guide you down the wrong path. The Lord is ready to accuse and judge all nations. He will even judge you rulers and leaders of his own nation. You destroyed his vineyard and filled your houses by robbing the poor. The Lord All-Powerful says, "You have crushed my people and rubbed it in the dirt, the faces of the poor." The Lord says, "The women of Jerusalem are proud and strut around, winking shamelessly. They wear anklets that jingle and call attention to the way they walk. But I, the Lord, will cover their heads with sores, and I will uncover their private parts. When that day comes, I will take away from those women all the fine jewelry they wear on their ankles, heads, necks, ears, arms, noses, fingers, and on their clothes. I will remove their veils, their belts, their perfume, their magic charms, their royal robes, and all their fancy dresses, hats, and purses. In place of perfume, there will be a stink. In place of belts, there will be ropes. In place of fancy hairdos, they will have bald heads. Instead of expensive clothes, they will wear sackcloth. Instead of beauty, they will have ugly scars. The fighting men of Jerusalem will be killed in battle. The city will mourn and sit in the dirt, emptied of its people." One thing that I find very fascinating about, and you learn this from reading the Old Testament, whenever the Lord carried out judgment on the people, it was always carefully measured out, and it wasn't at random. This is comforting to those who obey the Lord, so that you know he doesn't punish. He punishes those that deserve the punishment. Let me reread this section. Chapter 3, verses 10. Tell those who obey God, you're very fortunate. You will be rewarded for what you have done. So in the midst of all this chaos and just a mess, the judgment is falling on Jerusalem and Judah. He's saying that those who actually obey the Lord will be protected. How many of those people existed at that time? I don't know. We know Isaiah is one of them. But what we can say is that their rulers were very sinful, and they were leading their people down the wrong path. But from what I've read in other books of the Bible, such as Jeremiah, a lot of the people were worshiping idols. So It was a very sinful nation. As the Lord says in where was it? In verse 9, the look on your faces shows that you are sinful as Sodom. So at this time, it was a very sinful, they were in a very sinful state. So I would dare say that the majority of the people were rebellious against God, and that's why there was judgment in the first place. So I would dare say there was very few people that were going to be spared the onslaught of the punishment of being taken over by, I think they were being taken over by, I don't think they were being taken over by Babylon. Maybe they were. All right. Well, if you know the answer to that question, get back to me in the comments. But in the next video, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna go to chapter 4, and maybe this question will get answered as we keep on reading. But anyways, I'll catch you guys later. Have a good night and be safe.